Welcome to the Team Better Leadership Institute. My name is Tony Roberts. I am the Chief Transformation Officer, and I want to welcome you to our 20-minute training series and the power of creating and pursuing goals. Now, goals are the key that we use to shape our life. Goals are the way we get the things we want. And we're going to spend the next few minutes talking about how to create and pursue those goals. Our objective is to learn how to create and pursue goals, effective goals, ones that give us the success we want, ones that give us whatever we decide we want. We want to learn to use these techniques to create the goals that will produce our success. And remember, success is based on what you want, who you are, and what you're after. So success is different for everybody. And that's the kind of goals we're going to learn to create, is the ones that make you successful based on what you want and who you are. In order to create goals, we must determine what we want. There are two types of goals that we all have in common. We have our personal goals, the ones that we pursue because we desire those things and we believe the having of those things will make us happy. Most of us also we also pursue professional goals. And of course, professional goals, we create those because we believe by reaching those professional goals, it will help us to actually pursue and reach our personal goals. To create goals, we must first determine what we want personally. The things that we believe will make us happy. Then we can develop professional goals. But first, we've got to come up with those personal goals. That way, we know what we can pursue. We know what to pursue to help us get our personal goals. Now, in order to do this, we have to first figure out what the desired results are. We have to make a commitment to it, both short-term and long-term. So let's look at those a little bit more in depth. It's funny, when you look at this question, what do you want? You think, well, that's an easy question. But for most of us, when we really start to think about it, ponder it, it's not quite so easy. So there is a technique you can use. Well, there's a lot of techniques, but one I want to share with you that you can actually sort of help yourself narrow down what it is you want, and accurately, so you can feel good about what you're pursuing every day. So the way you do that, you get your sheet of paper, notebook paper, legal pad, whatever, and you write down your top 5 desires. The things you desire most in the world right now, the 5 things you desire most. You write them down. Then the next day, you pick a different sheet of paper and you write the top 5 things down again. But don't look at what you wrote down the day before. Now do this for a couple of weeks, 30 days. And what you're going to find out is after a period of time, a week, a month, somewhere in there, you're going to see the list is comprised of the same 5 things. So as you first begin, there's going to be different things. You're going to put 5 things, think that's what you want. Well, it was what you wanted yesterday, but today you're going to list 5 different things. Now, it may have a few of those same things, but it's going to be a little different. And it's going to be a little different the next day, and the following day, and the following day. But somewhere down the line, the 5 things that are really most important to you that you really want are going to come out, and you're going to consistently write those down. Now you've actually figured out what you truly want. Now that you have your personal goals, you can create your professional goals based on what your talents, skills, and abilities are. Now, how can you use your skills to obtain your personal goals? Well, think backwards from your end results. Okay, so you got the 5 things that you really want. So now you got to figure out what accomplishments would it take to achieve those things. What accomplishments to achieve those things? There are milestones and deliverables. In other words, okay, so on the way to achieving those 5 things, there's steps you're going to have to take. And so you take those steps. You figure out what those steps are. First of all, you're sort of doing regressive thinking here. So let me just give you an example. Let's say you wanted a cabin in the woods, and the end result is the cabin. What deliverables would it take to achieve this? Well, you'd have to have a plot of land. You'd have to have blueprints. You'd have to have the funds to build it. You'd have to hire contractors. You'd have to have utilities access. So those are each deliverables of what you'd have to have, but they can also be milestones as you're building it. Milestones for building that cabin would probably be, the first one would be the foundation. And then you would have the roof. And after the roof, then you would have maybe the electrical work, and then the plumbing, and the sheetrock. Each one of those being a milestone and a deliverable on your way to the overall cabin. Now, here's the thing. what you're really doing there, this regressive uh, tearing down of the deliver or the overall goal in project management, it's called a work breakdown structure. What are we trying to create? And then we break it down to every task and subtask it takes to create that result. Then we can figure out how much manpower, money, and materials it takes to create each one of those. And now we have a clear path on what it takes to create that result. Now, depending on what your goal is, you may not have to break it down that far, but some of them you might have to. And then you might have to see what kind of skills you got to learn or what kind of help you need to get. Either way, the work breakdown structure is a very powerful tool to help you do that. If you want to learn more about that, we have a course called the High Performance Project Manager, and that teaches you not only the work breakdown structure, but much, much, much more about project management. It teaches you a whole gambit on how to be a successful project manager. So, to answer that question, what do you want, is not just a simple off the top of your head thing. It takes a little bit of time and effort, but when you do that, when you put that time and effort, the results are worth it. Once we've identified what we really want, we've got to be able to focus our efforts and thoughts consistently and constantly committing to the achievement of those goals. So this requires all actions and efforts that we take every day be in pursuit of those goals and the attainment of those goals. We've got to identify our milestones. These are the achievement points where the next phase can begin, like in the cabin. Building the foundation is going to be the first milestone. Or it may be clearing the land, preparing it for the foundation is the first one. The foundation is the second one, so on and so forth, depending on the scenario. There are achievement points where the next phase can begin. And in building your cabin, the foundation may be it, or it could be clearing the land. Getting the roof on may be the next one, and so on and so forth. But those are milestones. Those milestones help you measure your progress as you go. You know when you're at this point, you're 25% done, or whatever it happens to be, depending on the scenario and what your project is and what your desire is. Based on your deliverables, the milestones, they create realistic deadlines, and they help you organize the manpower, the materials, and the money to get the exact results you want. So every day, you've got to have the commitment. You've got to have deadlines, and you've got to have milestones. And the key here is commitment every day. Every day, your thoughts and your efforts are focused on getting those goals. Napoleon Hill has a wonderful resource called Think and Grow Rich. And of course, it's not really about growing rich. It's about how to get what you want. And one of the things he talks about in there is how you make sure that every day you've done all you can to pursue your goals. And that's all you can do. Once you've done that, that's all you can do. But what that will do is make sure you get to your goals a whole lot quicker. When creating the path to your goals, you begin with the end result and work backwards. Like in project management, your next step would be the work breakdown structure. You identify every deliverable. So if this was a yacht, it could be you need $5 million to get this yacht. So you need a career change or a college education or whatever you need to do. You have to sort of figure it out. What do you need to do? Work backwards. Identify each deliverable. Continue until you reach a point where you are standing now, so you know exactly what steps are between you and the acquisition of that yacht. You know, for something like that, think about it. It could be that you have to get a better job to make more money so you can invest that money so you can have it by a certain age. It could be that you start your own business that you've researched and shown that you can make money, and you do that for a certain amount of years so you can get the yacht. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. So I don't want you to think because I use the yacht as an example that that's something that the average person can't get. It's not. There's a way to get anything you want if first you really want it. Then every day, every week, every month, constantly, consistently, you focus your thoughts on it and your efforts, you will get it because you will figure out the way there. It's just a matter of being that focused on it. So we've got to create short-term and long-term goals. Short-term goals, say what you want in the next year. Long-term goals, what you want 3 to 5 years out. You're going to plan these things so you can get the results you want. So you look at the short term and the long term. What do I got to do? And again, you use that work breakdown structure, that type of evaluation to break your overall goals down to find out what steps does it take, what people will be involved, how much money will be involved, what kind of effort will be involved. And once you know those things, you're on the path to your goals. At TLI, we have a formula we use. Action plus focus times effort equals results. It's just it just reminds us of our commitment and our desires And it gives us a scale to measure our actions and focus against to determine, are we giving both our thoughts and our actions to what we want to achieve? Are we committing to our goals? Are we working and thinking as efficiently as possible? It's a self-check, so to speak. So think about it. The action you put forth times the focus you have on what you want times the efforts you put into that will be what your results are. And so you want to know that every day you've given the maximum action, the maximum effort, the maximum focus. And that way you'll get the maximum result. Focus means that you, every day, every minute of every day, you weigh every action that you do or you're about to do against your goals and ask yourself, does that action bring me closer to my goals or further away? Now, one of the things this will do, this will help you prevent you from doing things that are not in your best interest. So if you're about to tell your boss to take a long walk off a short pier because you're angry and you think of this before you do it, you're going to realize that may not be in your best interest and help you get to your goals. So maybe you have that conversation when you're calmer and you can be more of a professional in making the point you're trying to make. So being focused on your goals is a powerful tool to really help you move forward as an individual, develop yourself, move toward those goals. But it takes that kind of focus where you weigh every action against your goals. Is it in my best interest to take this action or not? Now, there's a lot of information here and a lot of steps, and it's going to take you a little while to really come down to what your goals are. But when you do it, you will be very thankful because now you'll know what to do with your time and effort. And now you'll be able to start getting the results you want. Now, these are other 20-minute training courses that we have available. And the ones listed there are 20-minute training course. But at the bottom, you see that I suggest that you take the High Performance Project Management. And the reason I suggest you take that course is because that particular course is project management. It's all about creating, making goals, using goals, following up on goals, getting help with those goals, getting people on board. It's all about achieving milestones and goals. So with that said, when you learn project management, it makes everything as far as creating goals and pursuing goals and making milestones, tracking your progress. It just sort of makes it all logical for you so it becomes easy to do. And it helps you frame it in a way in your mind so you can stay focused on it and you always know what the next step is. So take the time to watch this video over and over until you get all the steps, until you get the routine. Build your commitment for those goals. And you won't do that if you don't take the time to list those goals out for a period of time until you come down to the goals that you really, really want. And what I mean that those are the goals that when you think about, and you think about having it, and you envision yourself having it, it makes you smile. It makes you feel good. You feel happy. Then you know those are truly your goals. And when you write those down daily without looking at yesterday, again, a week, 2 weeks, a month, at some point, you're going to come down to the true list of what you want. And when you think of having those things, when you close your eyes and you just put yourself with it, those things will make you smile and you'll realize those are my goals. And then you follow the rest of the steps here and you just start producing your goals. Now, this is information that you want to share if you're a leader with the members of your team, because you want them to start focusing on goals, personal and professional, so that way they become more powerful for you. And of course, if you're a parent, what harm can there be with helping your kid or your children start to understand how to achieve goals at a young age? I know I did that for my children, and it really made a difference in their life. So use this information, listen to it repeatedly, go to the next course you want, and thank you for using TLI.